Straight ahead on 12 News, our interview with the father of a missing Crystal boy. Police say he's not been entirely truthful. Hear what the father has to say. Plus, Brooklyn Park in the national spotlight. Why Mayor Jeff Lundy was in California meeting with a famous former governor. But first, local excitement after a big goal is achieved for Minnesota.
It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Minnesota to Major League Soccer.
12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Major League Soccer is coming to Minnesota.
The news has local soccer fans celebrating, but there's still a big question to be answered. Delane Cleveland is here to explain. Delane?
Mike and Alex, here's what we know. The Major League Soccer expansion team will begin play in 2018 and have an ownership group that consists of former United Health executive Bill McGuire, the Pohlad family, Wendy Carlson Nelson, and Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor. We also know that local youth soccer leagues are excited. What we don't know is how they'll pay for the downtown stadium. For longtime soccer fans,
we welcome you to an absolutely historic day here in Minnesota for soccer.
Wednesday was a day to rejoice.
This started as a project that was about this town, about taking a team that had deep roots here and saving it.
That team is the Minnesota United, owned by Dr. Bill McGuire, who joined the MLS commissioner on stage to announce that the team will become the league's 23rd club in 2018.
It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Minnesota to Major League Soccer.
The expansion team will play at a proposed site in downtown Minneapolis along Olson Memorial Highway near the Farmers Market. However, details on the stadium plan were scarce.
We do aspire to some wonderful things. There is a vision in place. We will begin unveiling that and sharing it with people so we can all have a smart dialogue about the right way to do this, the best way to do it.
Stadium politics aside, people in the youth soccer community were thrilled about the news.
The excitement is amazing.
Gordon Ferguson is involved with coaching and player development for Brooklyn Park's Northwest Kickers Soccer Club.
Obviously, with this launch of the MLS team here, we have the vibe going through all the young programs. And so that's very, very important for us as a club.
Important because it gives the youth soccer players the chance to see some of the best players in the world, which can help the sport to thrive in the Twin Cities.
That's a very important part of the game of, I want to do a trick like he did, and I want to move like he did, and I want to do all this kind of stuff. And so the buzz is definitely there.
The buzz is there, and the MLS support is there. Now all the team needs is a place to play.
We'll be talking about that in the weeks to come, but today this is really just about what an honor and a privilege it is for all of us.
The club is working to finalize the new stadium plan by July 1st. Meantime, today's announcement will make the Twin Cities one of 10 metropolitan areas nationally to have 5 major professional sports franchises: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and now soccer. Of those 10, only Denver has a smaller population than the Twin Cities. Mike and Alex?
All right, Delane, thank you. It is now 1 week since 10-year-old Barway Collins of Crystal went missing.
Police say the boy's father, Pierre Collins, is a suspect. Authorities also say Pierre hasn't been truthful with them. Reporter Sonia Goins talked with the father today for this story.
It's been 7 days now. No sign of our son. It's very painful.
Pierre Collins says time has stood still since his son Barway disappeared.
Every day is a search day. Every hour, every 30 minutes that passes is a search for my son.
Barway Collins was last seen getting off his school bus on March 18th. Tuesday, police released videotape from the bus. Barway says he sees his dad and a man he calls uncle.
The father and the party described as an uncle are likely the last known people to have seen Barway.
It's not clear if uncle is the boy's biological uncle or a family friend. Police say they questioned Pierre about the man referred to as uncle, but he's not been helpful.
We have reason to believe that Barway's father has not been completely truthful with us.
I'm working with the police. I've been truthful with them. Whatever I told them is true. I'm willing to work with them till my son can come home.
Pierre says he was at home with his wife and then left for a moment.
I was leaving that time. I was leaving home to go to the store. At that time frame, there is a possibility they can see me driving going.
Authorities are now looking at Pierre more closely.
He is considered a suspect at this time.
Pierre says He just wants his son back.
I'm doing everything to bring my son home. That's my son. If I know who took my son, I'll be the first person to get it before even calling the police.
Now, Pierre says he's been very cooperative with police. He's given them his car, cell phone records, computers, and other items. Meanwhile, the police department still needs your help. If you know who the so-called uncle is, or if you have any information on where Barway might be, give them a call. In Crystal, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
On Thursday, community members will hand out flyers throughout the city of Crystal to help find Barway. The event starts at 6 p.m.
There's new eye-opening research on car crashes caused by distracted teen drivers. The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety finds distracted driving is a factor in nearly 6 out of 10 moderate to severe crashes involving teens. Two most common forms of distracted driving were interacting with passengers and cell phone use. Even without distractions, teens have the highest crash rate of any group in the nation.
For several thousand homeowners, the power is back on, but that wasn't the case earlier. A power pole caught fire early Wednesday morning, knocking out electricity to 4,000 homeowners in several cities, including Rogers and Maple Grove. Xcel Energy says contaminants on the poles, like road salt, combined with the moisture that we had this morning, may have started the fire.
A New Hope meeting to fight crime drew concerned citizens and police from 4 different communities. Organizers lit candles outside DW's diner to show how they want to come together as a community against crime. They're urging people to open lines of communication and to call police when they see something that just doesn't look right.
We're here tonight showing that we're going to stand up for our communities and start calling the police when we have to, because so often things get ignored and some people fear just because they don't want to be retaliated against.
It just really highlights the fact that we're all in this together. And we may wear different uniforms for different purposes, but this is what communities are supposed to do.
Organizers are also hoping to find more positive activities for young people in the evenings to help minimize problems.
On the heels of his visit to the White House, Brooklyn Park's mayor is getting more high-profile exposure for the city's efforts to reduce youth crime. Mayor Jeff Lundy was with former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger this week for a national after-school summit at the University of Southern California. Lundy was invited to speak about the success of Brooklyn Park's efforts to get kids involved in after-school programming and reduce youth crime. Federal funding cuts for after-school programs are being debated in Congress. Lundy says that money helped Brooklyn Park get efforts started at Zanewood Recreation Center, which helped reduce youth crime by 41%. And Mayor Lundy says that's the equivalent of work for 4 police officers.
I only talked to you about the police officers. I didn't talk to you about county, state, juvenile, probation, all the other stuff that didn't happen because we cut crime. And so that savings is much more dramatic for taxpayer when they add county and state into it. You talk about, all the things, then you add the hope part where kids become productive members of our area.
Mayor Lundy says the high-profile exposure is helpful for Brooklyn Park as it applies for grants to continue work with local youth.
There's a new principal now in place at Oakwood Elementary after the sudden death of the previous principal. Wayzata High School principal Mike Trevick is taking over the role after the death of Dennis Grasmick. Trevick will spend time at both Oakwood and Wayzata through the end of the school year. He will become full-time principal at Oakwood next year. Scott Gingler, meanwhile, who is the principal in waiting at Wayzata High, will take over the lead role there next year. And the city of Plymouth has approved plans for a new elementary school in the Wayzata district. It would be built on a site southeast of County Road 47 and Troy Lane. The new school will serve roughly 675 students in grades kindergarten through 5. About 70 new homes are also proposed south of the school. Coming up, creative ways to take a spring break vacation without having to travel far from home. That's next in Money Savers.
And then a little bit later in sports, the Armstrong baseball team is eager to hit the field after making the state tournament last season.
But first, bundle up the kids on Thursday. Temperatures only expected to reach the upper 30s.
If you're a parent, you know your kids are counting down the days.
Spring break is next week, and planning a fun week doesn't have to break the bank. Shannon Slatton has some simple ideas in today's Money Savers.
If you're not traveling for spring break next week, we have a few fun, low-cost options for you. You could even say there's something to hoot about.
Discover something you haven't seen before out at area parks. Maybe it's a new animal or a new trail.
Look for something that you haven't before and to just enjoy being outside.
Gianna Kordatsky is an expert on what to do around the Twin Cities with kids. She's a contributor to FamilyFunTwinCities.com.
It's about finding the fun that you can do with your family and making memories together, and we try to make it as easy for you as possible and as cheap for you as possible.
She says area parks are great places to explore.
Make it a priority to make a memory with your family.
Free parking and a bring-your-own-lunch option means cost is minimal.
Just being at places that you didn't have time to go to during the year.
If you want to go indoors,
the Bell Museum of Natural History is free on Sundays. Tuesday nights, the Minnesota History Center is free.
Check out the website for low-cost museum options listed by date and time.
I don't think it takes a lot of research. I think it takes a lot of imagination to be frugal and to realize what's around you and at your fingertips.
And this is where all the tools are for individual families who are looking for simple projects they can do.
Also at your fingertips on doinggoodtogether.org, volunteer options for any age.
They can find all kinds of volunteer opportunities that are family friendly, as well as simple service projects they can do right in their home, and a lot of kindness resources, so things like children's books that talk about giving back.
There are even volunteer options for young children that you can do at your own kitchen table.
So this is as simple as just having your child draw a picture.
Then mail it to Color a Smile for distribution to soldiers or seniors. One of many ways to give back on your time off.
Once a family starts doing this, they tend to make it a habit because they're able to spend this time with their children that's so meaningful.
For Money Savers, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
And at doinggoodtogether.org, you can also see a calendar that lists volunteering options for families by date and location. Maybe some things you didn't think of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Coming up, calling all techie-minded teens, there could be a job for you.
But first in sports, we hear from two local hockey players as the University of Minnesota men's team gets set for the NCAA tournament. John Jacobson is in next.
After a rough stretch in the middle of the season, the University of Minnesota men's hockey team is playing very well, and a couple of local players are big contributors. The Gophers won the Big Ten regular season and then the conference tournament last weekend to earn a spot in the NCAA playoffs. Number 22, Travis Boyd, a Hopkins High School graduate, had 2 goals in the Big Ten Tourney Championship win over Michigan. He made the all-tournament team. Number 13, Taylor Camerata of Plymouth had an assist on Boyd's first goal. The players are excited to be back in the NCAA tournament where they'll face Minnesota Duluth.
You always want to make the NCAA tournament, and you always want to give yourself a shot to make a run. And we got in, and I think we're playing the best hockey of the year, so I'm excited to get out there and get playing.
Especially winning that Big Ten tournament, which nobody's ever done before in our locker room. It was kind of like, we're here to play and we know we can win. It's been, like I said, up and down season, but we never really were too down at any point. So it's been a good stretch lately, though.
The Gophers and UMD play at 4:30 Friday in the Northeast Regional Semifinals in Manchester, New Hampshire. Plymouth's Tony Cameronese is Minnesota Duluth's top scorer. The prep baseball season will start soon, weather permitting. Armstrong is hoping to build on a trip to the state tournament last season. The Falcons had a so-so regular season in 2014, placing 7th in the Northwest Suburban Conference. But they came on strong to win the Section 6-3A tournament and advance to state. They did lose their 2 state tournament games, but that experience gives the whole program a boost.
Oh boy, it meant a lot. It was really exciting getting to go to the state tournament banquet and then getting to play at Midway. That was a lot of fun, and I think it was a good booster for the guys, and it'll give us something to shoot for this year.
I think it's a great experience for them to understand that hard work and persistence and playing as a team and understanding roles on the team and working together and believing in each other. I think that's the payoffs are beyond just winning there, and I think that'll pay dividends for sure.
There's good reason to think the Falcons will be even better this season. They return their top 2 pitchers, Jordan Kuznia and Jack Wibben, who also play in the outfield. 7 starting position players return, making this an experienced team that expects good things.
Yeah, we've been doing captain's practice ever since about February, morning pitching early before the school day. So, I mean, we've been getting a lot better, and there's been a lot of competition for the spots. The guys know that it's not given to them just because we did well last year, so they've been working really hard, and we're hoping to get a lot better this year.
The Falcons are taking a spring trip to Lawrence, Kansas. They'll open the regular season at Waconia April 7th. 40 of Minnesota's best boys basketball players from the class of 2015 are set to play this weekend in the annual Minnesota Basketball Coaches Association All-Star Series. Among the local players scheduled to compete are Champlin Park guard J.T. Gibson. Gibson averaged 19 points and 4.5 assists per game and won several individual honors, including Mr. Basketball. Gibson's teammate Marty Hill will also be in the games this weekend. He'll average 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists per game for the state Class 4A runner-up Rebels. Armstrong also lands 2 players on the team. Sean Burns led the Falcons in scoring, averaging 15 points plus 8.5 rebounds and nearly 4 assists a game. Armstrong's Jerome Dixon, he is an All-Star too. He averaged just over 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. Also named to the All-Star Series, Jeremiah Hansen of Maranatha Christian Academy. He averaged 25.7 points per game and 9 rebounds for the Class A runner-up Mustangs, finishing as the school's all-time leading scorer. And finally, De La Salle senior Jarvis Johnson from Brooklyn Park will play in the series as well. Johnson helped lead the Islanders to 4 straight 3A championships. The 40 players from across the state are split into 4 teams. There are 2 games Friday night at St. Cloud State University with 2 more Saturday afternoon at McAllister College. Tickets are $8 for adults and $6 for students and seniors. A lot of good basketball Friday and Saturday. We'll have more on the Ted Brill All-Star Grade 8 hockey tournament coming up tomorrow starting at 4.
All right, thanks, John. Still ahead, how technology can help teens land a part-time job.
That story after a short break.
The library in Brooklyn Park is looking for a few technology-minded teens.
The Teen Tech Squad is a part-time job where teens lead creative workshops for other teenagers at the library. It can be anything from creating objects with a 3D printer to how to produce music.
Some of it they'll pick up along the way. I think we probably tend to attract those people who are already interested in technology or have been involved in Lego leagues, that type of thing, but we get a wide variety of teens expressing interest in it. For some, it's an opportunity to get hands-on experience with technology that they might not get otherwise.
In the new library that breaks ground next month, the Teen Tech Squad would have its own space, and the library will start taking applications on Friday, April 3rd, and they expect to get more applications than they have jobs for. But it would be a really cool part-time job.
Sounds like a good part-time job, yeah.
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Community Corner is coming up next, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 4.